it's a saying I use. I'll lose 10 battles to win the war. I'd have rather lost that battle with a no-show and still been in position to show. Because now we can't even show. I'd have lost that one to continue showing up.
But to be fair, Suspect could have done everything that he did throughout that entire episode. It was just that end, the spitting and the pulling out of a weapon. That was the moment where it went over the line.
First of all, here it goes. Brandon, at some point, hey, listen, bro, stop calling out youngsters like you don't understand our jungle. Don't call out no youngsters who are $150, $130, and you run around this motherfucker 280, 260.
Well, to be fair, Brandon got challenged to a fight by Sus early on. So the idea of that
challenged the last one.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the idea that they would have any kind of physical confrontation was Suspect's idea originally.
Listen, dude, listen.
And he at that time he thought that Brandon was a regular fat guy and not a buff fat guy, and he didn't know about the black belt thing.
What I do know is this. Dude hangs around with the viral way, right? I ain't met those brothers, but
I'm bringing them on.
But
the viral way.
I know that
you are invited to the Adam and Wack show.
I know that they. I've seen them with P Nice.
Yep.
Okay, so
Long
I say
Beach,
that
baby.
to say this, and them brothers probably gonna have a conversation with dude. If they got love for dude, they gonna have a conversation with dude.
I think they've been doing that a little
bit. Hey, bro,
you know.
know when and with who to do what with. Because you will get your ass smoked playing. They know this. Them youngsters right there, them brothers right there, hearing them talk, they're very intelligent. I like to hear them speak. I like their show. But dude is on a mission, but he's not understanding. He has to kind of like navigate that a little different. Because when you playing with these youngsters, they ain't taking no losses like that. Why you think Anhefe laid back? You know what I'm saying? He laid back because he know at the end of the day, youngster already know what it is. When you jump your 260, 70-pound ass up on one of these youngsters, best believe they already plotting to lay your ass down. Now, he got to know this, so when you coming up here with some short shorts, a tight shirt, and you thinking it's going to be a verbal thing, and these streets in this jungle we come from, words that get you smoked. A look, a stare get you popped. So he has to understand that. He should have understood being the elder. I know this dude a youngster. I know them viral Ray Caston told him like, yo, bro, you're a long way from home out there. Nigga, like certain things you can't say or do because it's gonna turn into that. So I think Almighty should have opted out of it. I don't even think he should have been invited to it, period. You know, he was trick bagged and he put himself in a trick bag. The camera's on, y'all shit is live. It ain't like they know you can go edit something out. It's pressure up in there. You know what I'm saying? You slip, say the wrong thing, it's what it is.
It has occurred to me that in my line of work, my mentality about violence on the podcast is this is absolutely not allowed. This is over the top. This is way outside the realm of what we can allow. But you go watch Zeus, they're beating the shit out of each other every 5 seconds.
That's a fact.
Maybe we should change the rules on the podcast to enable more violence.
Hey, listen, maybe
I'm probably not going to do that,
maybe
but you know, it is a possibility.
Or maintain a good balance when you're dealing with your people.
I mean, personally, I thought that they would be able to get on camera and that, like, you know, no violence was going to occur.
What made you think that?
Well, last time they were on camera, there wasn't any violence. They just yelled at each other, right? And
is that the time they tried to go fight?
And we got security to make sure, well, they didn't actually fight, but we got security to make sure that they wouldn't be able to fight.
That's the last time, right?
Suspect was very clever because he unleashed a projectile.
A what?
He spit.
Yeah. Listen.
Hadouken.
Listen. Listen, let me ask you something.
Sure.
Brandon went and did his research. Do you think he mentioned that alley situation and didn't know it was going to trigger dude?
To be fair, I feel like Suspect was saying everything that he could have possibly said to trigger Brandon as well.
This is why I fault Suspect for he should have removed himself. He shouldn't even came. Listen, somewhere in there, them dudes gonna get at it. They don't know how to get at it and have a conversation, right? When we ran me, you, Vlad, Act, our guy,
Trap
Lord, and Remo.
And Vlad, yeah.
What did I do before I got on Trap Lord?
Told me, hey, I'm about to get on Trap Lord.
You know why I did that? Because I wanted you to know that this is only going to go so far.
I know, and I kind of wish that I had stood up for Trap Lore more, because in my head, it's like, okay, Wack is like running a play, but then when you actually watch it, it doesn't feel like you're running a play because you actually were mad at him about something that he said on the podcast. No, so I kind of wish that I had dived in there a little bit more. Thing.
No, I was really a little bothered.
Yeah.
But I just didn't start it. I made sure I alerted you so you wouldn't be sitting there uneasy. See, the minute I alert you, I'm letting you know I'm aware of what I'm doing.
You neutralized me because you didn't want me diving in there and making it a 3-on-1 or whatever.
Been, I mean, listen, 3-on-1, y'all white boys. That's an even fade.
That's not an insult.
That's an even fade.
We come from a very strong,
now I will
legendary
tell you this,
legacy.
Brandon did a great job.
He's related to Prince Charles.
With the
no, okay.
With the white dude.
Brandon did a good job with I Hypocrite, right?
Yeah, whatever he was, but the hypocrite dude in his defense was kind of laughing because he said what I always tell our people: stop going back 200 years. He kept saying he like hit him, but okay, listen, I hear you,
right?
And everything Brandon was saying was, when Brandon kept saying we threw you an alley-oop, I was waiting for the dude to hit him with it. Hey, listen, brother, it ain't no business unless business is established. Once you establish business and blueprint it, and we know what we need, then we went and got what we needed, which was you guys, right? And dude was kind of laughing at him because the reality of what he was talking about is real. We ain't got to kill y'all. Y'all gonna kill y'all. Right? It was real. But Brandon knew his stuff when it comes to his history and all that. But today that shit don't even make a difference because the reality is that we kind of like, we are our own worst enemy.
Yeah, I mean, that debate was weird because they agree on so much shit. There's not really that much besides the racism thing that ultimately kind of got in the way of them. But I mean, like Brandon, okay, this is the thing. They both think that Black people, as it stands in America, have a lot of issues, let's just say. The only disagreement is that I Hypocrite thinks that this is like innate, that this is genetically programmed into Black people, whereas Brandon thinks this is the result of history and all these different things that have happened.
What Brandon was trying to say is, if you give an individual opportunity, you're going to get a different individual. If you place an individual in a middle class area or upper class area and give him the opportunities, that's a different individual. You put that individual, white, Black, Hispanic, or whatever you want to say, in a low class community where they're forced to survive and deal with all these other things, you're going to get a different individual. Our trailer park communities, you don't hear a lot about them, but it's a lot goes on, and a lot of them are dominated by Caucasian people, right? A lot of shit goes on, right?
Do you ever get into the YouTube nook of watching different videos about, like, you know, white gangs that sell meth down south?
No, it's a whole lot.
You watch that for an hour or two, and you'll be convinced like white people are just as fucked up if placed into these environments.
Yeah, it's a lot goes on. So I get where Brandon's coming from, and I got where the dude was coming from. But, you know, moving along with it, I feel like you was a little extreme, and we really need to talk about that.
Oh, really? What do you think?
I believe that, no jumper, because I'm hearing Josh scheduled that shit and called. And Josh is you when you ain't here.
You're talking about Josh scheduling the Almighty and Brandon
I
episode.
feel like, we got to look out for each other and know what not to do. Like, come on, like, bro, you did this shit with Brick Baby.
What?
However you had it scheduled, you made sure we never cross paths.
True.
Right? Okay, so if we know we got a situation going on with nephew, and the last thing they was finna fight, I really believe y'all was looking at it like it's content. I don't think y'all understood the seriousness. I understood Brandon went and did his homework. This dude was kind of saying all kind of things about me. I don't know nothing about him. Let me find some dirt. And listen, I don't doubt him for that. So I think you a little too harsh is why we can't give him a suspension.
Really, because this was not the first time, I think was the main thing that made me feel like
What
this
you
was,
mean not the first time?
well, the Kelpie situation was pretty extreme.
The what?
When he beat up Kelpie, Almighty.
You beat him up where?
You don't remember this? It was like the most viral clip in the history of...
How long ago was that?
2 years.
Okay, what the fuck are we talking about, bro? Okay, within the 2 years, when everybody left the building, did he follow the bandwagon?
No.
Okay, well, let's give him some credit. So let's take the Kelpie situation.
And I do appreciate that for sure.
Hold on, let's take the Kelpie situation. And when everybody left, Almighty didn't follow the bandwagon, and let's call that a wash. So he starts with a clean slate. I ain't saying don't give him, no punishment, but I'm saying like don't just get rid of nephew like that. Or give him a 2 week, 30 days or something. But
my issue is that
I ain't saying, look, this your build. I'm just telling you, nephew didn't, he shows up, he does his thing. He's a character. People look forward to seeing him because of how he acts. But don't just get rid of him like that.
You never know what's going to happen in the future. It's not like it would be impossible. But from my perspective, dealing with lawsuits basically makes it so that running this business is completely fucking pointless, in the sense that a lawsuit that cost me 50 grand immediately just like erases so much time that we spend on stream, because streaming does not really make that much money. So from my perspective, anyone who introduces behavior that ultimately seems like it's rising to the occasion that a lawsuit could result from it, to me, it's like, this is something that we have to get away with.
How about this? That's cool. Well, how about we pay attention to the lawsuiters? Because if there's some shit that went on and everybody ain't screaming sue. So maybe we get away from them people that's them type of people. Well, maybe they don't fit. Maybe they don't fit
but that's
our
the thing.
environment.
They don't sue until they leave.
No, but what I'm saying, maybe they don't fit our environment. You talking that shit, you saying certain shit, you disrespecting niggas the way you doing it, and then when they go there, you want to scream lawsuit.
But who do you see as the potentially litigious type?
He was the one, Brandon.
You think Brandon is a sewer?
He's the one screaming it. Like we didn't all been in
he screamed about the knife?
We was all in some shit, right? Been in some type of situation, and it's just we deal with it how we deal with it, And I ain't even saying get rid of dude, but I'm saying if we gon' listen, I'm totally against terminating him without giving him a suspension. Like, bro, motherfucking Lush punk ass nigga had 50 gang members. Talking about f you, f me, all kind of weird shit.
And definitely, if Lush were to f up massively again, that would have been instructive about it. Like, you f up multiple times. Maybe we need to take a step back from working with you.
You gave him a week suspension. I ain't saying give Almighty a week suspension, maybe 2 weeks. But I'm saying don't give this dude who had it, that could have turned into something. And I woke up and got included in it. You got included in it. He got a week suspension. Great. I'm glad that happened for Lush. I'm just saying, I think indefinite without a return date right now, and he's been loyal, is a little extreme. That's all. I ain't telling you how to run your building. This is just your brother. I'm saying I believe it's a little extreme. And all the training that is winning him from here, I'd rather see that talent stay in his building than force him to go try to find a check and it ends up in another building.
Well, he's on the hater world tonight.
I mean, that's cool, but even on his thing last night.
Maybe he'll be their black guy. No, they don't have a black guy.
No, even his thing last night, I'm glad that he's not going into a hole or thinking nothing crazy. He at least is working his name, right? Bring our guy back to our building, bro.
How is this your guy all of a sudden? You never showed him any love prior to this.
Always.
When?
Always, bro.
I was not privy to this.
Oh, you know how long I've been knowing this dude?
No.
Since he was going at Blueface about stealing his style. You know what I did?
Still doing that.
You know what I did when he did that?
What?
Brought him to the concert and let him go on stage with Blueface.
When was that?
At the at the Novo.
That doesn't seem like it's really worked out long term because they still hate each other.
No, it was cool. They ain't never had no problem. Whatever he say. But
Blueface was kind of like sending his guys to look around here to try to find Almighty at one point when they were doing an episode.
Nah, because he
tweeted about him. Blueface had a tweet where he basically called Suspect like the lamest dude from LA or some shit. But he changed it to AS because he basically like didn't want to give him any more clout than he had to. Which I was a little surprised.
What I'm saying is like, I just think indefinite is a little extreme.
Well, yeah. It's an extreme business, and I used to take part in extreme sports. So, extreme is really kind of my nature.
So, it's no way possible we can just give him a suspension.
At this point, I think I'm ready to at least take a step back, at least for a while. I'll say that. Is that who knows what the future could hold. At this time, I think I'm...
Bro, I looked up, you had the Mexican dude who violated 50 ways back on the show. What we talking about, bro?
That's what I'm saying. There is a place for forgiveness within this building.
You let Lush...
Comparator was banned permanently and eventually wormed his way back in.
Yeah, but he went running his mouth saying all kind of shit. Mm-hmm. Nephew ain't did none of that.
This is pro wrestling. I think it's important for you to remember that.
Huh?
This is pro wrestling.
No, I don't know what that is. That's you and Brick Baby, WWE.
No, that's gay porn. But it's pro wrestling in the sense that any conflict, could it change as time goes by? Yeah, of course, it could change. Who knows?
Yeah, but why have him up under the gun where it's just
the gun?
No return. I mean, damn, bro, like... Hey, listen.
I mean, I guess technically I didn't say that there was no return.
That's what I'm saying. Well, why we said it, you said it time for Lush. I went to bat for Lush. This ain't nothing new.
What, with the Travis Ford situation?
I definitely did. His ass was out of here. I called you on that. I said, look, bro, I think he was just, he dealing with a dude who ain't rational. He's saying things because I believe he got caught up in that, wanted to be cool with some gang members. I think he learned his lesson. Yeah. Don't get rid of him indefinitely.
That definitely happened.
Whatever you choose to do, you do as your building. I'm just saying, like, God damn, man. Because it'll bother me if I look up and something happened with Nephew.
What do you mean?
Just what I'm saying. This is part of his program. Yeah, this part of his program, believe it or not. It's part of his program.
So what do you think he's going to go do?
He got a void. Now he got a void. He got open space. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying no punish him, but damn, at least give him something to look forward. Tell him like, look, you out 2 weeks, 30 days. Come back. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. But damn, don't just like...
Honestly, it probably would have been that if it wasn't for the Kelpie thing. It's just, to me, it was like, even though they were a couple years apart,
bro, your man,
it just felt a little
you got to give him some credit for staying down when everybody else probably wanted him to leave, bro.
Believe it or not, I did.
You got to phase that out. You know what I'm saying? So that's a wash. Kelpie ain't there, and now at this point, you can't, that's gone. You staying loyal and staying is gone. Right? This situation, I want to get you up out of here, but you know what? I'm talking to Wack. I'm thinking about it. That does mean something. Look, you gone for a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know. But I just feel like, the indefinite thing, and when you're not given a date of return, it's indefinite. In your mind, I don't want to look up in the hours of, 8 and 12 when he would have been here. We look on social media and something happened.
For the record, if anything happens to him during the hours that he would normally be here, I don't really feel like that is our responsibility.
No, what I'm saying is, I understand it because I used to be his age. This is his and today, to even have a program like that means something. It keeps you out, it keeps you away, and it keeps you in position to meet other people to possibly do other things with.
True.
Maybe I'm speaking as a big homie. Maybe I'm speaking as a big brother. Maybe I'm speaking as a father. I'm just saying, think about it. You ain't got to make your decision now. Okay. Think about it. Maybe we can just kind of like do something a little less.
Who knows what the future may hold.
He come back on a probational period.
Or I was saying a straitjacket.
I mean, shit, that too, whatever.